Start this early. Oh, wow. They dazzlingly me, too? That's not the thing I expected. Look, I'll be honest. I don't even know extra drills counts. I just went with the force, you know? Just gotta go with the force. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I made a Pokemon Go video. A lot of it has to do with some of the recent Niantic changes to the game, and I shared my thoughts on that on Twitter, so if you want to see what that's about, feel free to check it out. But yeah, I'm back from taking a break from making Pogo videos, and I got another one for you all. This is what I've been using in Ultra League REMIX, and I was able to climb a decent amount on the leaderboards with it as well. It's a super bulky team, and the team comprises of Jellicent, Stunfisk, and Mandibuzz. All 3 XLs. It is an XL heavy league, and I would be disingenuous to say that you could do very well with a team without any XLs. 1 is probably a solid bare minimum in my opinion if you really want to push for leaderboards. You could probably get to legend without any XLs, but I would say if you want to go anywhere past that, it's going to be quite hard to perform consistently. If you don't have them on, it's something you can start building for future seasons. I don't have any of these best buddied because I did get my Stunfisk and Mandibuzz fairly recently with the IVs needed, and they're both 100% because they don't hit 2500. You can bust buddy either of them, but I would recommend Stunfisk just because of that mirror for the CMP for Earthquake. Before I get into the footage, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, feel free to sign up in the link down below. Alright, so going into this first matchup, something to know. You would think that Scrafty actually beats this entire team, and it does have play, but this is the main reason why I run Bubble over Hex. So something I learned is that against Scrafty, if you shield that first foul play, you go straight Bubble Beam for the first 3 charge moves and then go Shadow Ball, you actually can beat the Scrafty. And that's also assuming they don't shield. Obviously, if they want to shield Bubble Beam, that's fine. Vast majority of Scrafties aren't going to shield the Bubble Beam, and if they shield, you can finish off with Mandibuzz. So, as you can see here, going for the triple Bubble Beam, and then Shadow Ball, even though resisted, actually does a little bit more damage than Bubble Beam. And you don't really need that last debuff, because you've already debuffed it quite a bit. And a lot of Scrafties don't anticipate the Shadow Ball, but once you land the Shadow Ball, you can actually put it down and farm down range with Bubble if they don't swap out. So, this opponent didn't swap out, I finished with Energy. That's the biggest check to my Stunfisk. And I do actually shield this Weather Ball just because I got the Shadow Ball. It's going to do a good chunk of damage. Politoed also very, very strong versus the Stunfisk, so I'm definitely trying to weaken this Politoed as much as possible. Was that a good shield? I don't know. They're up 2 shields to 0. This Politoed might have Blizzard, but fortunately it looks like it has Weather Ball, which is nice. Blizzard's not enough to KO the Mandibuzz either, so I was going to figure I'd grab both shields or weaken it, even if it had Blizzard. This Politoed hasn't swapped out yet, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to drop these double foul plays on it and see what's going on here. And they do shield again, which is shield for the first time, which is kind of interesting. I don't mind this. These Weather Ball spams aren't going to be too scary for Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is very bulky in Ultra League. It's essentially a flying Umbreon, which is kind of scary. Okay, so these Snarls, they come in with a Jellicent, so this is actually really good, because I'm able to weaken it quite a bit here, come in with the Stunfisk, and so at this point, I'm going to win on timeouts. It would have been a close match had I not timed out, but the thing with this team, and a lot of Ultra League REMIX teams, because all the XLs, is there's a lot of win cons where you win by just where you win by just timing them out. So something to recognize in a lot of these battles. So my opponent actually swaps to Drapion here. I was a little bit slow to swap. I wanted to get some extra energy, but maybe it wasn't worth taking that crunch. I don't know. So this one's actually running crunch and Agua Tail, so actually really good coverage against my Stunfisk as well. But 1 Earthquake will be enough. And it's actually not too bad. I don't mind this because now I could Earthquake the Scrafty. They're just going to throw Power Punches here, which is nice because even if they're boosted here, as long as I shield the foul play, it doesn't really matter how many Power Punches they get on my Stunfisk, right? So I actually swap out to my Jellicent again right here. Main reason because I have a check to Scrafty with my Mandibuzz as well, so I didn't want them to have too much energy here. And it actually is a Unova Stunfisk, so that's actually kind of spicy. You know, Stunfisk actually has play against the Jellicent. It's actually very strong against the Mandibuzz, and it's not bad against the G-Fist. G-Fist does beat it in most situations, but it has played with the Mud Bombs. Earthquake's just such a better move. So swapping in here, trying to absorb the damage here. And now I come in with the Mandibuzz here, and I think I understand the win count at this point is I need a timeout victory. So they actually swap in their Scrafty here, which is actually really nice. So I'm going to farm up, probably double up here, because I don't really need to worry about the Power Punches. And then now I'm going to go for the Air Oasis. Now, I doubt they're going to shield these, and they don't. And even if they did, I doubled up. But this puts me in a very good spot, because now I could just go for the timeout victory, and I should be okay. So I'm going to probably drop one Foul Play here. And, okay, no, they get to another discharge. But, again, Mandibuzz, very bulky. Able to survive this. I'm going to burn the timer a little bit more. And then swap to my Jellicent in case, yeah, they try to Thunder Shock me down. So, again, recognizing the timeout victories is very important. Gengar, not a great lead for this team. And then Machamp, really bad counter swap. So, this is definitely a tough spot. I do like to safe swap the G-Fist in a lot of situations, though, because you can usually force shields against pretty much anything. Even if it's a hard check, right? So, able to grab that shield from the Machamp. Most will shield it, but I don't think it's worth baiting with Rock Slide, in my opinion. I did shield that in case they're running Payback. Machamp with Payback is actually quite strong in this meta. So I am going to drop a Bubble Beam here. Now, this is actually interesting that they swapped to Snorlax. So I'm going to debuff it a bunch. And then I'm going to save the Jellicent for later. And then bring in the Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz now is actually pretty solid against Snorlax because you're resisting all the lick damage. And I double debuffed it, so it's not going to do a ton of damage here. Now, what I'm going to do here is farm up a bunch of energy so I always have another move ready in case they decide to swap into Gengar or the Machamp. So this opponent here is going to just stay in, which is fine because these are resisted licks and then double debuff body slams. Now, double it up again. I think I undercharges just so I can snarl down the Snorlax to get even more farm. And then now they have a Machamp. I could double up on the Air Oasis. I just have to watch out for a sack, but it looks like they're not going to sack here. And then now I have a Mandibuzz versus Gengar. I don't know what the second move on the Gengar is. They actually do get a move here, which is kind of unfortunate. So I'm down shields, so I'm going to throw this Foul Play. And I have to watch out for probably a Shadow Ball, or sorry, not Shadow Ball, a Focus Blast or a Sludge Bomb. I'm just going to swap to my Jellicent here, hope to catch one of those, and it's a Sludge Bomb. And yeah, they're going to concede the match right there. So definitely still have some play. And that's a pretty popular line. Gengar, Machamp, and Shadow Snorlax is popularized as a triple non-XL line. Still very expensive because there's 2 Shadow Mons on it. I'm going to bait this G-Fist or this Giratina with a Rock Slide. I figure it's probably a safe bait because they haven't swapped out yet, so they probably don't have a good check to G-Fist, which is why I decided to double shield it. I'm going to drop an Earthquake here. I either grab 2 shields or I do a bunch of damage. And they let it go, so I'm going to go for a Rock Slide here. Let's see what they come in with. So now at this point, my switch timer is kind of, yeah, it's already up. I guess I just stay in here because they need to throw Earth Power. Oh no, okay, I just swapped to Jellicent. That's fine. My reasoning for Jellicent is because I figured they're even weaker to G-Fist in the back, so I wanted to save the G-Fist. So they came in, what do you call it? Nidoqueen with it, and they are quite weak to it. A Charm Ninetales is going to be very weak to G-Fisk, and actually able to finish off the Ninetales right there. I'm going to go straight for the Bubble Beam here. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it to the Poison Vein. Oh, it looks like I'm just going to go for some timeout win here if they stay in, which is fine. I end up surviving that, and they do concede the match because I still had a full health Mandibuzz in the back. Alright. So, going into this mirror matchup, they are running Hex. A lot of them are running Hex, but the extra Hex damage is not a big deal in my opinion. So, I'd like to catch a move on the G-Fisk here. Let's see what it is. So, they're actually going for the bait there, which is fine. Unfortunate though, I think catching a Shadow Ball would have been nicer, but just something to note for me in the back in my mind is they have a little bit more energy than my Jellicent. But I do draw out the Scrafty, and they actually shield the Scrafty too, interesting enough. Even though it's debuffed. But again, G-Fist is very good at forcing shields. Probably wasn't a bad shield because, I don't know. They would have survived actually the second one. After the debuff at least. But I'm going to go straight in here with Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is going to do pretty solid here. Going to resist all these, or not resist, take only neutral, but Power Punch is not that deadly. I do decide to throw an Aerial Ace here right away to get rid of it. Just because shields down, the Aerial Ace is going to be a little bit more handy. So now I come in and farm down this Scrafty, have energy for that Jellicent. So now we're in a pretty good spot. Again, their Jellicent was up a little bit on energy. Kind of lost track of their energy as well right there. So they do Bubble Beam, bait me. Not great, but that's fine. Able to still finish it off. And then they have a Powder Stone Ninetales. So that's actually kind of scary. Unfortunately, I'm debuffed here. So I really decide if they're going to bait me here with a Weather Ball or Dazzling Gleam me. It's kind of 50-50 call. I decided to do no shield. And unfortunately, I do get hit by a Dazzling Gleam. And that, unfortunately, is going to be very tough for me because I need to land, I think, 3 Aerial Aces. 2 is just not enough because this Ninetales is just resisting all the charm, all the Snarl damage, and unfortunately, it's going to Powder Stone me down before I can get to that third, before I even get to the second one. So, well played by my opponent. Kind of got in my head a little bit, actually, with their base, which is unfortunate, but they play that well. I think it was a good time for them to drop that Dazzling Gleam there. All right, G-Fist lead, very solid. So I am going to shield. I usually shield the first Earthquake after dropping Shadow Ball, because after that, you go straight Bubble Beam, and you'll be fine. And that one actually swapped out, but I'm going to charge up some extra energy, then swap to my G-Fist. The reason I did this is because I don't know, I probably don't need the extra energy now that I think about it. But the Dark Pulse now usually is not a terrible matchup for Mandy, especially if it has an energy lead against G-Fist, but they are debuffed, so that actually puts me in a good spot. I do have to watch out for that G-Fist because our switch timers are misaligned, but I do have energy on my Ninetales, or on my Jellicent at least. So I'm going to shield this Earthquake, very likely an Earthquake, and then now I'm going to Bubble Beam down this G-Fisk. I'm predicting it might be a timeout win here. Both bulky mons on both sides. I don't know what the third mon is, but they do come in with the Mandibuzz. I'm going to just debuff away here. I'm going to have to take some damage here, but I want to preserve the Jellicent in case it comes down to a timeout necessary win. So even though Bubble Beam is not great, it still does quite a bit of damage. They actually swapped out themselves, probably expecting what I'm expecting is a timeout win, so they want to preserve their mons. But hey, if I have 3 left, they don't have 2 left, and I'm still going to win, right? I also have a full health Mandibuzz, which I probably could have brought that in instead. I'm not really sure why I brought in the G-Fisk, but it's all good. Still going to stay in here, do quite a bit of damage here. They might take out my G-Fist now, which is a little unfortunate, but I have a lot of health on this Mandibuzz, and they actually conceded the match. I don't know, if they stayed in there, they might have won on timeouts. I don't know, hard to say, but they conceded the match right there, which is, yeah. So anyway, Air Slash Mandibuzz, a little bit better for my Jellicent, a little bit better for my G-Fisk, not as good for my Mandibuzz, but in the lead, I need all the help I can get, so I'll take the Air Slash in the lead for sure. Unfortunately, in a bad spot, but again, G-Fisk really good at forcing shields in Ultra League. It's just so tanky. It's good in Great League too, right? Of course. So my opponent here is going to time their throws really well here with the Weather Ball, because I was building for the Earthquake. If I threw rocks there, they probably, unless I CMP there, they're probably going to just farm me down after that, which would be pretty bad. So looks like this Politoed is actually running Blizzard. So that's pretty good. I'm going to just drop the move right there right away. And then here comes a G-Fisk. So don't have the alignment I want, but I think the play here is I'm going to try to go for a timeout win and try to take out both. I'll take out this G-Fist at the very least. I still have 2 shields as well, so I should be able to do quite a bit of damage. And even if we time out here, I should be able to win even if the G-Fist is not out, because I do have the health advantage and the shield advantage. And so I'm going to just double shield at this point, recognizing that that's probably my win con here. And I'm going to throw a foul play. I do have to watch out for a potential sack. And here it is. Perfect timing on my opponent's end. But I'm going to stay in here and throw the Aerial Ace and really kind of chip this down. So the G-Fizz is quite low, so I have a chance to win this on timeout, because if you look at my Jellicent, it's got a lot of health. And I know this opponent doesn't want to shield the Aerial Ace, but they have to shield something. And the Aerial Ace is going to do more than the Bubble Beam, so I think they eventually going to have to shield this. but they're staying in for some reason. So I'm going to throw another Aerial Ace, and let's see what we can do here. So it's going to do a little bit of chip damage, and I think I probably swap. Yeah, I swapped my Jellicent just to catch an Aerial Ace because I want to have as much health as possible. Let's see if I win that one, and I do win. I had to wait for the end screen because I really wasn't sure. But yeah, you know, sometimes those are the wins you need with a very bulky team. All right, going against Charm Ninetales. Charm very strong against Mandibuzz. You definitely want to just stay in here. I'm going to shield the Side Shock. It's going to do a good chunk of damage, and this puts them in a situation they either have to shield if they want win switch, or I win switch and have extra energy. Actually, yeah, they end up KOing me. Ninetales very, very strong in this meta, so not a surprise. And then I'm going to Mud Shot this Ninetales down. Here comes the Scrafty, so I'm going to need to land this Earthquake here. It's not great for my team, but Mandibuzz should be okay, especially if the Scrafty's weakened. Let's see if they shield or not. Either way, it's fine. They'll either be in Aerial Ace range or I grab a shield. So it's actually a Deoxys Defense. So I'm going to shield the Rock Slide. Reason being, out of all the moves remaining, what's going to do the most damage? Power Punch, not that much. And then, Power Punch not going to do a lot against Mandibuzz either. And Rock Slide is probably going to do the most out of everything combined. DD has nothing super effective or even neutral it can throw out G-Fisk, so there's no need to shield the G-Fisk. So I actually overfarm there, and I throw an Aerial Ace. Two reasons. Main reason is in case they sack swap, which they did, right? They actually caught that move right when I was throwing it, but I just thought, you know what? I gotta throw the Aerial Ace in case they're trying to catch the move. The other reason being is that Aerial Ace would have been enough to take out the DD anyway, so it's a very safe move to throw in case they try to catch, right? Now they're in a tough spot. We do CMP here, but my G-Fisk has a lot of health left to survive, or enough health, I guess, to survive the counters. Even if they threw a move there, would have been fine because I would get to Rock Slide. Alright, Powder Snow Ninetales. So, again, you want to stay in because Powder Snow Ninetales is pretty deadly against Mandibuzz. You know, equally deadly or just as deadly, or maybe slightly less deadly, but still very strong, and Mandibuzz has no play against it. So, they actually swap in their G-Fisk here. This is perfect. Reason being, I could easily win Switch still and maintain the lead, and then still match up my G-Fisk with their Ninetales. So unless they have triple counters to Mandibuzz, Mandibuzz should have a decent matchup for whatever the third mon is. Alright, so I'm going to farm up a little extra, go for this Bubble Beam, and debuff it and take it out again. Alright, so let's see what they come back in with. It's going to be a Politoed. This is perfect. I have the alignment I want. I just dropped the Shadow Ball. It's going to do a decent amount of damage, get the Mandibuzz on the Toad, and then I'll have the G-Fisk on the Ninetales. That's at least the plan I have in mind at the moment while I'm watching my own battle. Let's see if I play it out any differently or not. But I'm not going to shield anything here. Mandibuzz does great against this Politoed, even if they land a Blizzard. So I'm going to drop the Foul Play. We do CMP there, which is nice, which means I definitely get this Foul Play off, and they can't sack it on the Ninetales. Weakening the Politoed, and then here comes the Ninetales, and then now I have the G-Fisk. I figured they're going to try to snipe me down real quick with a Weather Ball, so definitely anticipated that. But Weather Ball's the right move against G-Fisk too, so it's not like they really lost anything for that. But I have the alignment I want, so this should do quite a bit. And they are going to shield, knowing that they need to keep this Ninetales alive to have a chance against my Mandibuzz. But I know I survived this Weather Ball, and then I'm going to shield this one. And just be careful for the swap from the Politoed. As you can see, they're coming in with it, and you just have to anticipate it, right? Because if they sniped that down, I would have been in kind of some trouble. So now what I'm going to do is farm up. Double up against the Politoed, and then throw a Foul Play. Actually, we're about to time out here, so I should be fine either way. But I guess I gotta watch out, because if they have Weather Ball, they might take me out, and I'll lose on HP. But able to win it. Alright. Shadow Snorlax. Not a great matchup for sure, but backline matchups aren't too bad. I usually shield this, because it's usually a superpower and then dip, which is exactly what they did. And here comes DD. Deoxys Defense, not that great against G-Fisk. Kind of like Great League, you know? You're not doing any super effective damage with your charge moves, so you're not too worried about that. Counters, yes, are super effective, but it's non-stab from a very bulk-weighted mon. It is Deoxys Defense for a reason, and not Attack Deoxys. So, yeah, so able to do quite a bit of damage with a G-Fisk against a DD. Let's see if they finish me off here or not. They're going to just dump their moves here, and I'm going to just let it go. This is pretty good outcome against the DD in my opinion. This is going to be another Psycho Boost, but double debuffed already. It's not going to do much damage. And then I'm getting ready for that Snorlax. I come in with Mandibuzz, and they have this Mewtwo in the back, so this is actually not bad at all. I'm going to just take out this Mewtwo as soon as possible, just in case they potentially get a timeout win. So I want to weaken this thing or just take it out. And then, yeah, against the Snorlax with Jellicent, I'm in a very good spot. I just come with Jellicent, debuff it a bunch, come with Mandibuzz. They can't clear the debuffs. It's going to be a good time. Alright, so they're going to keep throwing moves here, but that's fine. I'm not too worried here. Even Dynamic Punch is not a big deal. And then I'm going to start the plan I said. I'm just going to debuff away the Snorlax at this point. Oh, actually they swapped out. So this is actually not a bad play on their end, because now even if they're debuffed, they can still clear the debuffs as well. But I think they need to start shielding something soon, because this timer's coming up. It's very uncomfortable to shield the Bubble Beam, but sometimes you have to if it's going to be a timeout win or loss. So again, they did a great swap here. But now the Mewtwo's down, and they can't really get a timeout win, and then I'll have back-to-back foul plays on my, or almost back-to-back foul plays on my Mandibuzz. No move here is going to take me out, and I'm going to drop this. And even if I didn't take out the Snorlax, I would have won on timeout. It looks like my opponent actually conceded right there. All right, Drifblim lead, not too bad. So again, I like to just safe swap my G-Fizz. The main reason I don't really like Drifblim lead is two reasons. You have two checks for in the back. G-Fizz is not bad unless they double shield, and the Mandibuzz beats it. It's not bad for Jellicent against Drifblim, but the issue is it's kind of a bait game, and it makes the game very uncomfortable. And if you ever have two solid checks, why stay in, right? Also, most Drifblim leads will have G-Fizz counters in the back, like Politoed, and so if I draw that out, I'll at least have a solid matchup with Jellicent against it, right? So, throwing their moves a little bit quickly here, which I realized it probably wasn't an Earthquake, which allows me to farm extra. It's kind of an interesting strategy. Going that route can be good if you grab a shield from your opponent, or if you CMP them, right? So if I threw the big move and didn't try to farm down, or didn't keep trying to farm, that would have been fine. But against very experienced players that know their accounts, it's probably not a good idea to throw that lower energy move early, unless you perfectly time it on a CMP, which is not always the case, right? Because who knows how much someone's going to farm. Because if you do that, then the opposing player is going to just farm extra after getting hit by your lower energy move, especially if you didn't grab a shield. Like in that situation, I farmed a few extra bubbles to get a little bit more energy against the Politoed, which was good because I was able to throw a Shadow Ball at Drifblim because of it. Alright, so this is going to be a Poison Fang. Not too worried here. I'm just going to go straight Bubble Beam here. I guess I probably could have gone Shadow. Oh, no, actually, no, Bubble Beam's fine. But yeah, this is going to be... I'm going to just farm up to 2 foul plays here and throw them back to back, and I should be fine because they still have a shield. It's actually a pretty close game. But yeah, able to finish it off with the back-to-back foul plays. Alright, as you see, the switch timer going down as well as the timer is running out. Abomasnow, really tough because it has a lot of play against Mandibuzz, also has play against Jellicent. The other typical ice types, Jellicent does okay with. But here's the play. I like to throw the Shadow Ball. A lot of them don't shield. Once they don't shield, I just start coming with G-Fisk, start throwing Rock Slice at it. And the main reason I do this is because even if I don't take out the Abomasnow with G-Fisk, this puts it close enough where I feel comfortable with aerial acing it with Mandibuzz. But they actually let it go. So that's actually really good because now I have still a pretty solid alignment. Rock Slice are going to start adding up against this Drifblim. They're going to be able to take me out before I take them out, and they spend a shield, so that makes sense. They were trying to farm me down, but that's just not going to work so well against a G-Fisk, especially in Ultra League. And then now I'm in a pretty good spot. I don't have to shield the Icy Winds, but I probably might need to be careful in case it's going to be a timeout win for them. So I don't want to take too much damage here, but I'm going to go straight for the foul play, see what they do. They don't shield. Kind of interesting. And then they swap to a Galvantula. Galvantula, also a really tough mon for my team, especially in the lead. So this one goes straight for the discharge. I'm going to bait him, I guess. I kind of need to, I think. And I'm going to go for a double Bubble Beam debuff. It's going to be pretty handy against for my Mandibuzz here. But I'm still going to shield just in case it is a discharge. But Lunge honestly still does quite a bit of damage too. I just need to take out this Galvantula farm up a little energy against. Yeah, I thought I was going to farm up a little energy against it, but they actually did a great swap to rotate out. So I recognizing my win con, all I had to do is farm this down and then throw a foul play. That should be fine. I did have a shield just in case that Galvantula had another move, but able to make it work. Alright, Deoxys Defense. Not too big of a deal, again, just because Jellicent has great coverage for it, and Deoxys Defense is not throwing any stab moves, and best case scenario you land a Thunderbolt, but most Jellicent users will shield at that point. Alright, again, I like to go Earthquake, shield first Earthquake, go straight Shadow Ball, and then now go Bubble Beam, because I finished off with a ton of energy. Now here's the problem. Do they really want to come into a Jellicent with energy with DD? Probably not, which is very good, because if that's the case, then I see their third mon and I could kind of strategize accordingly. So let's see what they have in the back. And as predicted, it was not the DD that came in, but this is actually not great. Ferrothorn is quite strong, so I'm going to just try to weaken this as much as possible. Mandibuzz has a solid matchup against it. Let's see what I do here. Do I stay in? Yeah, I guess I stay in. I'm in a pretty commanding lead at the moment, even though I'm down a shield. Yeah, this is not going to be good for them. And then 2 shield Deoxys is going to try to do what it can against this Mandibuzz, but I'm going to actually swap out here. Again, those charge moves just don't do enough. And you can farm up quite a bit of energy with the G-Fisk here and throw, and they still don't shield for some reason. That's fine. They're going to probably throw, yes, Thunderbolt, not a big deal. Psycho Boost is going to probably be the better move when they're closer to the end. Just so they don't have to worry too much about debuffs. Alright. Great play by my opponent here to try to snipe me down here, but I'm going to rotate back over to my Mandibuzz and finish it off here with Mandibuzz here. And now, even if I don't take out DD, we do have advantage for the late game. What I could have done there is probably thrown a foul play, kind of like similar like the Scrafty play earlier, hoping that the DD catches it. But they are going to concede, thankfully, and save us a bunch of time. Alright, Nidoqueen, very solid lead. They actually swap in their Jellicent, so I know all the Jellicents are a turn behind because of that. And then now I bring in the Mandibuzz. I guess if I had the switch option, Mandibuzz makes the most sense. The other thing is, in case they have a Ninetales in the back, I don't want that Mandibuzz to be a liability, right? So G-Fizz, again, very solid at grabbing shields, very solid against most things in the meta, so I figured it's a good thing to have in the back. Whereas Mandibuzz could be a little bit more polarizing, so getting rid of it early is not a bad situation, because the pairing between Jellicent and G-Fizz, very strong. Anti-fighters versus anti-everything else, pretty much with G-Fisk. The team is a little bit weak to grass for sure, but that's about it. Alright, so here comes Scrafty, able to do a decent amount of damage with it if I land a move. Didn't do any damage yet. But let's see if they spend 2 shields on it or not. Alright, yeah, so we do land one of those. They do take me out, and I'm going to throw an Aerial Ace right away. Let's see if the Scrafty shields. Probably good likelihood that they shield. I need to start shielding because I am going to lose the timeout here if I do not shield. I'm going to throw another Aerial Ace, and this should KO the Scrafty or put it quite close. Yeah, put it quite close, and then here comes the Nidoqueen. Easy GG's. Alright, Politoed. Not too bad. Now, here's the thing though. My opponent's also staying in here, and again, I'm not running the Hex variant of Jellicent, so this matchup is a little bit harder, because as you can see, those resistant bubbles not doing much. And this opponent does have Earthquake, so this makes the match a little bit more interesting. I think looking back on this, and you're going to see in a second, what I do is I don't shield the second move. I think even if it's a Weather Ball, it's not a bad shield, because now I'm not in this situation where, yeah, we CMP here, and then now they have lead, and we're on even shields. So I'm going to come in with my Mandibuzz here, just to farm this thing down, and let's see what they have in the back. It is going to be a Charm Ninetales, very bad. They do have a Armor Mewtwo, so it's not terrible. I do go straight for the Earthquake, see what happens. They don't shield. Now I'm in a very commanding spot to just bait with Rock Slides. Let's see if they go for it or not. But they kind of have to, because that Ninetales definitely doesn't want to see his G-Fisk. So they do shield the first Rock Slide, and let's see if I could get another one. yeah, so I'm gonna go straight for the Earthquake here. And then, yeah, I guess I wasn't going to bait again. And then I'm going to go straight for a Rock Slide here. I should be able to get to 2. This is actually pretty good. But again, this Charm Ninetales kind of bad for my Mandibuzz. Now, watch this. I'm going to make a misplay here. I stay in. I could have switched out. I stayed in trying to do some extra chip damage with Mud Shot. Which, is it worth it? No, I wouldn't say so. Alright, so dropping Airways, I figure I probably need at least 3, but it looks like 2 is enough. So I was going for it, and then we see him beat high. Now, if I didn't stay in, they got like 3 or 4 charms against my G-Fisk, I would have been fine. So that was kind of a misplay by me, but also really great plays by my opponent there too. So that's the team I've been using in Ultra League Remix. It is a very bulky team, very expensive team, so if you don't have it, no sweat. The rotation is almost over, but definitely 3 mons that are worth building for the future purposes of Ultra League. Hope you like this video. I hope you're all doing well, especially in the midst of a lot of this Niantic and Pokemon Go controversies and stuff. I think the important thing right now is to really cherish the good moments of the game, especially the community and the things you enjoy about it, regardless of what that may be, if it's PvP or non-PvP related. But yeah, we'll see what happens when Niantic releases updates on September 1st. But in the meantime, hang in there. And if you liked the video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.